Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is Creative's SoundBlasterX Katana, a 24-bit high-res under-monitor soundbar system which supports Dolby audio and has 5 drivers that include a nice subwoofer that goes under the desk. But for the most part, it's designed to be a slimline premium soundbar that sits nicely under your gaming monitor or your television, because it does work with PlayStation and PC. I've been using it on PC, but I want to talk to you about why this is an interesting bit of kit. It is a model from 2017, so it's not new by any means, but it is a premium speaker that will set you back around £200 or $200, and there are a number of reasons why it's worth that amount of money, not least of which is the high resolution audio. It has that 5-driver system. It also has Dolby Digital decoding, which means if you plug in an optical cable and an appropriate source, you can get 5.1 digital surround sound. You can also get 7.1 virtual surround sound on PC, and it has a headphone and microphone jack on it if you want to plug in a 3.5mm connector, and I'll show you that a bit later on. It also has a really premium design, as RGB underlighting and much more. So in the box you get the soundbar itself, the subwoofer, which you'll see in a minute, and a number of cables. Actually, really nicely, they've supplied all the power cables you could need as a US style cable, European style cable, and the British one as well. So when I first got it out of the box, I thought, oh no, I need to find another adapter. A number of times they don't send a UK plug, but there it is. So you've got all 3, and as well as the USB cables necessary to connect it to your PC. And it also connects to the subwoofer via a single cable as well, which is really easy. So setup of this thing is a joy. You basically need one power cable, the power brick, USB cable to the sound bar, and the connection to the subwoofer. You also get this little remote control in the box, which is actually handy to have, although you don't need to use it most of the time, but does give you access to a number of settings that I'll show you a bit later on. Now, the Katana's a really interesting option, as it's very nice and it's quite subtle when you turn the RGB lighting off, and it doesn't take up as much room on the desk. As long as you don't have large stands on your monitor, you can slip it underneath. Unfortunately, my monitors sort of jut out a little bit, but it still sits in front of the keyboard nicely. It means that you can get a really good speaker quite close to your ears without much fuss. It also delivers some fantastic sound for gaming, watching films, listening to music, and it has a variety of different settings and software that allows you to adjust it, but also you can adjust on the fly. You'll also note there's a display built into the front of the speaker and a LED strip that runs along the bottom for RGB lighting, as well as the upward firing drivers. And it has these little feet on it that also make it sort of face slightly upwards, pointing towards you, which means you get a good quality sound experience. Inside the box you also get the subwoofer, which can sit nicely under your desk and out of the way, and it's got a reasonably long cable to allow it to do so. The whole package is really nice. The subwoofer doesn't look quite as good quality as the soundbar itself, but that's not a problem because you're probably going to hide that out of the way anyway. The soundbar itself has a really cool brushed aluminium finish to it that you'll see in a second, and a very high quality premium design and look and feel to it. Also delivers some fantastic sound. As I said, there is software that allows you to tweak the audio, EQ settings, adjust the lighting, adjust stuff like the Dolby dynamic range control, and a lot more. And from the remote you can also see there's Bluetooth. So this has Bluetooth 4.2 connectivity, which means press and hold the power button puts it into Bluetooth pairing mode that I'll show you later on, and then you can just connect to your phone or other Bluetooth device. So it has a rich experience. Now you see the buttons on top, the brushed aluminium, you see the power button, Bluetooth connectivity, volume adjustment, source switching, and you also have the Sound Blaster sound settings. On the connectivity options you can see the sub connection, mic in, the headphone connection, auxiliary, optical if you want the full Dolby Digital experience, and a USB flash drive, so you can plug in a USB stick with your music on it, and it supports a number of different formats, and I'll include all the information in this description, but you can stick in a drive with your music on it and play it directly from the soundbar, which is pretty cool. I personally wouldn't be using that because I like to play music from Spotify, but if you have some really high res audio, or you're a bit of an audiophile and you like storing music on your drives, then that might be an option, and it's a nice option to have, and plenty of connectivity options make this really appealing. Personally, I'm just using it for Bluetooth connectivity on my phone and to connect to my PC, but it's nice to be able to have those other options. As you can see, looking at it up close as well, it's really good quality design and looks fantastic. You can see the little feet that I was talking about. I angle the soundbar up slightly, but not too much, and that allows for the RGB light bleed underneath, which gives a nice glow on the bottom of your desk, and you'll see that a bit later, but it also means the audio is fired up towards your ears. Here you can see the quality of the buttons. Again, as I said, the power button doubles as the Bluetooth pairing button, then you have the volume control, source control, and then the SPX button, and that switch between audio profiles but also lighting underneath the profiles on that, and you can adjust the lighting as well using the remote. You'll see here you can switch between the sources, Bluetooth, auxiliary, USB, optical, and the computer as well. And you can press and hold the power button for the Bluetooth connectivity. So here's just showing off the sound levels of the speaker. And it's hard to do it justice, but it does go incredibly loud, and it is a very rich sound experience and delivers brilliant sound. One thing I will note is that with the 7.1 virtual surround sound, it probably isn't as convincing as wearing a headset, because obviously you've got a lot of audio bleed into the room. It doesn't, give as good a positional audio experience as a gaming headset, but it does vary depending on the game and the source that you plugged in. Obviously, if you're using an optical cable for Dolby Digital, then you get a better experience. However, I would personally prefer to wear a headset for gaming at night and playing on a game where you want to get serious about the audio, but I have been using it for Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, and it does give a really rich sound, and it is surprising actually the virtual surround sound capabilities of this device too. For listening to music and other things, it's fantastic. You can see you can switch between the various modes, and you have kind of a default lighting mode to go with those sound settings, but you can tweak that within the software, and you can change it on the fly with the remote as well. So you can change between a number of RGB lighting settings, and you can turn the RGB lighting off or adjust the brightness of it as well, customize that, but it gives a nice glow to the underneath, quite satisfying to look at and very pleasant. The volume level is ridiculous. You can see just how high it goes, and I won't be able to demonstrate just how loud that is, but it is incredibly loud. It's a very powerful little sound bar and delivers a very rich and high quality experience. This is one of those products, as I said in a previous video, how I judge a product is whether I'd be sad and have to send it back, and actually I really would be. This is a brilliant soundbar. I've really enjoyed having around. I've been looking for a decent speaker for a while. I've had a few different speakers in from Logitech and Razer in the past, for example, but this one is just nice because it's kind of subtle if you turn the lighting off. It's understated but delivers a really rich sound quality experience. Multitude of connectivity options make it appealing as well. The ability to be able to switch between those sound modes, change the RGB lighting and more, make it nice too. As I said, you can plug in your headset and microphone via 3.5mm jack. If you wanted to do that directly, take advantage of those connections and the fact that it has that built-in digital audio converter and the processing power in there as well. This is a serious bit of kit, despite being a couple of years old now, and it is really worth paying that money for. If you want to see a video just showing off the sounds and the volumes, then I'm going to do an ASMR style video and a short video with just the audio so you can get a view of that. And showing off the little remote control, it's worth pointing out that you do need to point the remote straight at the Sound Blaster speaker. It won't receive just bouncing off walls or whatever, so it's not as interesting as other remote controls. However, it does work, and it does have access to more settings on it that you can also get within the software. You'll see you can adjust the LED, you can tweak the bass levels, you can go between Sound Blaster modes, you can adjust the source and all sorts of other things. Here you can see the lighting and the different options, so even just something simple like that gives you access to more lighting options on the fly, as well as the ability to just turn the lighting off if it's getting in the way when you're gaming. Sometimes it's nice to have on during the day, but maybe a bit distracting when you're playing. Hope you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this Sound Blaster soundbar. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting or hilarious. Be sure to subscribe and check out these other videos, as well as taking a look in the description for links and other information you might find useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see extra about this, and have a great life.